Hey, we all start somewhere, right? And I was thinking, well, that includes me. So I wanted to throw some skin in the game at you guys because I'm sure you find these channels like mine because you're starting something new, trying something new, trying to learn something new, elevate yourself, grow. Because I teach a lot of techniques on here for photography, lighting, all that sorts of stuff. We talk about gear, but as this channel has just passed 60,000 subscribers, and I can't believe it. Thank you guys so much. On the road to 100K, I want to take a look back. And you probably found this channel because you saw me on a bigger channel like Adorama TV, which is at 1.5 million subscribers right now. And that's just one channel. There's a bunch of other channels, but I'm pretty sure that's like the main one you guys find me on. And the biggest videos on there are the new product videos, the new launches, the new stuff, the new shiny toys that hit the market. You know, brands come by with prototypes, beta models, pre-releases, hand it to us and go make something cool, show some examples from it, shoot something awesome and show what it can do, explain to them who it's for, is it for them, what is the philosophy about why this thing exists, and you only got a short amount of time to do it, and it's very hard to describe and explain this workflow to people who have never done it before. It's very niche. I've never done anything quite like new product videos, and even when I get a new host on the channel to do a new product video, I got to kind of prep them and get them in the mindset of what it takes and what is it and isn't allowed, and they go like, what? It's like, yeah. So anyway, I want to take a look back at where it started for me, and this isn't the first video I've ever done for Adorama TV, but it's the first new product video that I've done for them, and you're going to see a guy that probably didn't think he'd ever be doing it again, let alone consistently for a bunch of years. It's rough, but hey, rough edges get smoothed out as we evolve, as we grow. So let's take a look back at some vintage Seth Miranda and see where it started for me here in YouTube land. And also, let's just do some BTS director's cut commentary on what it was like. I haven't seen this video in a lot of years, but I know I was rough back then, and there's another story behind this video that is a reason I was rough. We'll get into it. Either way, if you're into this sort of thing, let me know down below. Maybe we'll go back to my very first video ever. But for right now, stick around. We're going to take a step back and way back in time to a few years ago with my first product video ever for Adorama TV or in general. Should be pretty fun. Stick around. All right, let's talk about what these videos even are. This type of video, the new product videos, the announcements, the launches. They're crazy. They're really, really crazy. When something new comes out, a new camera, for example, like this one, which is for the Nikon D850 back in 2017, you guys probably saw your YouTube feed get flooded from all the things you subscribe to. If you are into this sort of thing, it'll feed you all those channels that have all the videos and it's all at the same time, right? So they release it because you had it prepared, but they also don't want anything leaked out before then. So what usually happens is you will get a very short amount of time with the unit to go do something with, and you might not get a full idea of what it even is. So what kind of project should I put together? So we try to just keep things concise to something that's worth shooting, and then we'll figure it out after the fact, right? We definitely can't be in public. People can't see it, you know, where we can't let people get a chance to take out their phone, take a picture of it and leak it on Twitter, right? So it's a lot of like, keep it tight, but also get it done quick. And you're not going to be in a situation most of the time where you are going to be given something to hold on to for a while. Most of the time, they're going to tell you what day they're showing up. You're going to be there. They're going to show up with the product and they're going to leave with the product. Like the gear is coming with them and leaving with them. And it is kind of nuts. Sometimes they're not even fully finished. They're just prototypes and beta models that are finished enough for you to get examples from it. And they're fine with showing what it can do in that regard. In this case, I had a couple days notice, and this is as a guy who never did this before. Remember that. So I was always coming through Adorama as a pro. I was always buying gear there. I was hanging out with Daniel Norton, just being part of the community. I was teaching classes there. I was running workshops, but I never really did anything as far as, I guess you would call it marketing, or like, hey, there's something new. What is it? I never had to do anything like that. So I get a call from who was the senior producer at the time then. She calls me a couple days in advance and goes, hey, there's something we think you would be great for. I can't tell you what it is. I didn't sign an NDA yet. Are you available on this day? And I think it was a couple days from there. It couldn't have been more than 2 days max. And I said, Yeah, okay, sure. And she's like, "Can you do me a favor and figure out a makeup artist and do that stuff you do, all that crazy special effects makeup you do?" And I said, "I can get an artist and we can shoot something, sure. What should I bring?" She's like, "Bring all the equipment you normally would bring." And I was like, "Okay, no problem." And I'm going to Adorama itself. Yeah, she's like, "You're going to the store and we're gonna shoot this." And I was like, "All right." And I guess back then I was so naive to not be nervous about it because I was just like, I guess I'm just shooting something. The next day, I was sick out of my mind. I was crazy, crazy sick, and I'm trying to source a makeup artist. And I called my girl Catrina, who is like my favorite local that I can grab. She's awesome, and I like the way she does paint jobs. She does amazing stuff. She said, "What do you want to do?" And I said, "Well, let's do an alien because I can do anything with an alien. If you give me something like an injury or something that's very character specific, I'm kind of put in a box with what I can do with it. But an alien, you can kind of do whatever you want with it, make it look sleek, cool, or scary, or dopey, or whatever you want to make it look like, because they're just a species or a race of something that exists out there. Maybe they're intelligent, maybe they're not, but that's based on how you shoot it. Either way, I said go wild and give me color, because you can't ever go wrong with showing lots of color in something you're trying to show what it can do, right? Luckily, it was the Nikon D850, which has amazing color, amazing image quality. I wasn't totally sure what this was going to be. She just said it's something that I would probably be familiar with, and just give me something that you can shoot in this space. So we got Catrina, we got an alien special effects makeup, and I am sick out of my mind. So now they're looking for a model. And at the time, I never shot with Marisa Roper, the famous Marisa that you guys all love from Adorama TV. I've known her, sweet girl, obviously extremely beautiful, very easy to shoot with. But they said, "Hey, we're going to pull in Marisa for this." And I said, "I don't know." I never shot with her, and that wasn't the problem. My problem was that she's so full of energy and she's so like full of life that I just wasn't sure she was going to sit for 3 to 5 hours for a special effects makeup. I was like, if she's never sat for a makeup before, this could be challenging. And they said, "Well, we're short on time." She swears up and down that she can sit for it. And to her credit, she sat like a rock. Marisa, I love you. She did an amazing job just modeling this makeup for me. She was great. She was absolutely great. Had amazing eyes for this makeup because it was a blue makeup. She's got blue eyes, and the texture just worked off itself really easily. And I'll put a link down to some Instagram posts from back then of the makeup if you guys want to see the shots of it. But I'll definitely put the link to the video also as well, and they'll be in the video as well. But before, I just wanted to give you this preference to it because, one, I didn't know what I was getting into. I had no idea what I was getting into. I didn't know how Marisa was going to be. I wasn't even sure what this makeup was going to be. I just told her, "Give me an alien with whatever prosthetic pieces you have and give me color." Right. And then I'm sick out of my mind the day, a day or two beforehand. I remember having like a day to like get my head together or like, try to beat this thing, but I don't know if I did or not. What I do remember though is super, super early in that morning, I did a headshot job, and I went from the headshot job to Adorama to do this video because in my mindset as a freelancer and as a pro, I said, I'm already going to have gear on me. Why don't I squeeze something in? And luckily I was able to find someone that needed headshots. So I shot those, went to Adorama, and then I walk into what was then the event space, but it was closed off so no one could see in there. And there was 2 Nikon reps, and it was the first time I met them. I didn't know anyone from Nikon back then. And they hand me 2 Nikon D850s. And one of the coolest things was I flip it over and I'm looking at the serial number, and the 2 serial numbers, I'm not even kidding you. It was 00007, 00009. And I was like, whoa, this is so cool. I never experienced something like that. I never was able to get something that was pre-release prototype that said sample, that didn't have serial numbers, let alone like some of the first ones off the line, which was kind of nuts. And, you heard rumors about the D850 back then, but now it was true. Now I'm like looking at this thing and I go, what is this? And they're reading off the specs to me and my brain just going, I never had to spit a sheet of specs before in a video, and I didn't really have to do it in this one. Somehow it evolved into me needing to know like every little spec for everything ever as we went along. You guys have seen the videos, but in this case, I was just like, oh my gosh, the resolution, 45 megapixels. You know, we were jumping from 33 megapixels to 45. What's that like? What's it going to look like? How clean is it going to be? You know, it was just wild. And I remember hearing that it had 8K time lapse, which was mind blowing back then. 2017, a DSLR 8K time lapse. They had it in the D850. So I said, I have 2 camera bodies. They said, yeah, which I haven't had since, by the way. No release has ever given me more than one. Anyway. I had 2 camera bodies. So we set up one of the D850s doing a time lapse of the makeup. So we had that to show in the video. And then they said, go for it. And so Marissa's sitting there getting her makeup done. I can't even get started. And I'm like, I don't even know what you guys want me to say on camera. She's like, the senior producer at the time was like, just do what you do, and we'll talk about it after. So I'm looking around. I'm just like, what am I going to do? I'm like, well, I'm just going to treat it like a studio shoot. And I pulled out all these speed lights. I think I had about 5 Nikon SB910s with SD9 battery packs, which meant every speed light was taking 12 AA's back then. And I was setting these up because that's how I would have done it. So without, you know, letting this ramble on forever, let's jump into the video and see a sick, naive, rough, never hosted Seth. Let's just jump right into this. I got the headphones on so that the audio doesn't bleed into the mic, but this should be this should be pretty fun. Let's take a look. Oh, the old Adorama logo. Oh my gosh.
Hey, this is Seth Miranda. I'm here at the Adorama event space where they told me.
Look at the hair. Oh my God, that's right. So it was July. I remember it being the middle of the summer. It was July, super hot, super humid, and that is what my hair used to look like when I was on no sleep, in humidity, fried out of my mind. And you can hear how sick I am in this video. But it was, oh my gosh. Let's and there's Catrina in the background working on Marisa. Let's let this go.
D850, which I have in hand right here, so you can be all jealous.
Oh, I was sassy back then. You can be jealous.
I have a second body right here that's recording a 4K time lapse. The first thing I did was call up my girl Catrina, my makeup artist.
So the second camera was doing a 4K time lapse, and I think when we wanted to do the 8K time lapse, the concern was that YouTube wouldn't be able to handle 8K back then or something like that. So like just do 4K.
For a living, I shoot special effects, and if I'm going to see what a camera can do, I want to see what it can do with what I'm already known for shooting.
Fair.
I'm expecting a really boost in quality here. Even though I've been using the Nikon D810 forever, this is a boost in megapixel and speed. So I'm really, I don't know about speed out of this today.
Yeah, I sound so excited, don't I? And there's Marisa, young Marisa, doing her first special effects makeup. Man, this was, and I'm still wearing white shirts. Keeping it real, kids. Okay, so that softbox is the Lastolite Speedlight. I forgot what it was called, but it was my go-to for everything. I shot with that Speedlight box. That little tiny box did so much of the heavy lifting for me shaping subjects back then. It was my go-to. And if you also notice down below, that is the original old school Adorama logo. They since have updated from then, but yeah, you can see that I'm running articulating arms right under my elbow to an SB910, the battery pack, which is that coiled cable on a Justin clamp, which is what that was called back then. Now I think it's called a cold shoe clamp. And that box, I haven't used it in, I can't even tell you how long. Meanwhile, it was my everyday banger. Putting some ears on it, trying to figure out what pieces work, because we were just using pieces that we found. And that was the Rogue flash bender that I used for strips, for like a strip light. And there's the 4K time lapse. See what it says beta sample? Yeah. She sat like a champ. I got to give it to her. And that was the Joe McNally box. That was the bigger version for Speedlights. Lastolite isn't even a brand anymore. It's all Manfrotto, just to show you. And I haven't used these types of Speedlights in, I can't even tell you how long. Whenever the Profoto A1 came out is when I switched over. But not having to use AA batteries, whew, big change. Yeah, the flower shape, I remember that. Because it just collapsed down so easy. Also, in the background, you see these Adorama on the background. I spray painted those on that tarp. That was the original event space. That was my thing. I kind of made this 3-colored stencil. There, you can't tell there's a black stencil in there, but there is. And everyone, whoever spoke or taught at the event space, signed that before they were done. But this was so long ago, you don't see one signature on there. That's how the beginning of things this was. It's kind of crazy. And yeah, that's a Brooklyn reflector, the whiteboard on the wall over there. But if you notice now in the new event space, it's just a black tarp with no logos on it, but all that silver writing all over it, that's the signatures from everybody who did a demo or taught a class or was a guest on some podcast or a panel. That's all their signatures on there. So little side note. Yeah, so this is totally a Catrina alien because she always did like a bald head and then a ponytail out the top. Yeah, see, just one ponytail. Like she was doing this Amazonian warrior race thing. It was pretty rad. And so here's me using my cell phone, and I did this all the time with the flashlight on it, because what it would let me do is have the harshest light I could at the time out of my pocket, just to see where the flaws in the makeup were, so I knew where to light, what not to light, how to smooth out, where I shouldn't smooth out to really highlight things, what texture I can make sing, is there some sort of shimmer on there to make it kick. You know, it actually told me a lot just by having a small point source light railing right through the makeup, so that it could show me all the imperfections or things I should really pay attention to. Yeah, so I'm using my hand to reflect back the rest of the residual light from my cell phone so I can see what it would feel like if I filled it in certain places. It was crazy, but after shooting thousands of makeups in my career, I was able to just work faster by doing this. Yeah. And you know, side note, if you look back at this moment, you'll notice in the shots, I do this look in the shots, believe it or not.
So I was able to use my SB910s, which was Nikon's.
Look at that F mount. And there's the 24-120 f4 lens that I used forever, and I used it back then on the F mount for everything as well. So I stand by that lens.
As my lighting setup, I have 5, 1 master and 4 lighting up my subject. My goal here with prosthetics and special effects makeup at all times is to make it as 3-dimensional.
So while I'm talking about the lighting, those are Rogue flash benders over here. Those still exist, and they were awesome at the time for me because I was able to make strip lights, almost like 1-foot strip lights out of nowhere, because they packed down so flat on these speed lights, and I was just carrying so much stuff. I actually carry less stuff and able to do more, which is what you hope for out of your gear, right?
It is a 3-dimensional face, and things are sculpted and prosthetics are put on top of a face. Last thing I want to do is flatten it out. I use Rogue flash benders for my rim lights. Kept me right where I wanted with my lights. They weren't spreading all over. I have to worry about a backdrop. They were going right where I wanted to sculpt out where I was wanting that light.
And that's out of camera. Because what you guys don't know is that pretty much every single new camera release, you cannot shoot RAW because there will be nothing that reads the RAW file. Sometimes they give you like a beta software that can, from the manufacturer, that can read it, but most times you're just shoot JPEG and get it as tight as you can in camera, because that's going to be the example, and every troll is going to judge you on those images. Don't ever forget that. So at a camera, I was a little like, wait, what do you mean I can't shoot RAW? And then I was like, well, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to edit them anyway. And I said that to them, and they were like, well, that's perfect. Because almost everyone that does these videos for the first time gets shook when they hear, what do you mean I can't do RAW? What are you kidding me?
Great softbox for speed lights that fit right in my bag. I'm using the Easy Box Light 2.
Easy Box, that's what it's called, because it just flipped open from being flat. Almost everything you see as a modifier was able to fold super, super flat, fit in a laptop sleeve or on top of a case.
Joe McNally's signature white lined
Joe.
box. Very useful, all fits in my bag, and it was awesome. And the fact that all this equipment from previous evolutions of Nikon work with this new evolution of Nikon was incredible. The resolution got me all the detail out of the paint that I could ever hope to see. And the sharpness was incredible because using Nikon lenses, of course. But on top of that,
Of course.
64 ISO, reduced my noise completely.
I remember seeing the 64 ISO and going, oh, this is sick. Like, let me see how clean this gets.
Although this camera does go up to 25,000 ISO, which is absolutely incredible. I can't tell you how.
I don't know if that's incredible. Does anyone even ever use 25,000 ISO? I don't know.
With this, especially with the autofocus being so fast, I'd have to hunt and find where I was going to find focal points. This camera was through those prosthetics, right on her eyeball, right where I want it, including this all manual focus 55 micro from years ago.
So it's kind of funny, right? Back then we were just using single point autofocus, just getting focus and recomposing, and now the whole talk is how fast does the camera find the eyeballs and stuff like that, right? And here I am using an all manual lens to acquire focus just by myself, with no focus peaking. I mean, I was just looking through the optics and seeing how sharp it was, and also on most cameras, including Nikon, in the bottom it'll give you like an okay if it's sharp or something, and on Nikon it's a dot because it tells you go left or right till it gives you the dot, you know.
Showing this eyeball as ridiculously detailed as possible with this incredibly high resolution. I could not be more impressed with this camera.
That's true, and I'm still impressed by this camera. It's probably my favorite DSLR of all time, and I will never sell mine. I've done such big things in my career with the D850 era of my career that I don't think I could ever sell that camera. It just means too much to me. And I always keep the last generation of every technology. I keep, I have my last film SLR, I'll keep my last DSLR, whatever's after mirrorless, I'll keep this, whatever. Yeah, so all this is out of camera JPEGs. Okay, so this shot I'm going to call out. What's funny is the video made it to petapixel, and this is also at a time where I was not used to people's comments, right? So I was looking at the comments. They were fairly positive. Like, people were like, oh, cool, someone actually used it in like a higher elevated type setting. Someone actually used it in like a studio type setting. I really wanted to see it that way, because a lot of the videos were like walk around and shoot kind of thing, or whatever. I guess, I don't know. But when it hit petapixel, of course, the toxic comments came out. And the first comment I remember was something like, oh man, this guy can't shoot. Look how blown out his highlights are. And I was like, I remember talking to Daniel, I'm like, does this guy not get that that's a stylized light, that I wanted it to be that way? I wanted to blow out those rim lights because look how dialed and perfect exposure the rest of it is. That's 5 lights pointed at her, and I made sure the 2 were completely ripping because I wanted you to have an atmosphere of maybe her spaceship's behind her or something crazy like that. But look how striking and how much it just stops you. And then you have that catch light on the bottom of her eyeball like that, and the glint off of the nose ring and all this stuff. I just remember reading that going, this guy has no idea what he's talking about. And to this day, I will see a comment of someone bashing me and I will go, this guy has no idea what he's talking about. But I just remember back then going, like, they don't get it. And so sometimes when I'm shooting these new product videos, I dial back on some things style-wise because I know they're not going to understand it and they're going to think it's a flaw rather than what I'm trying to do. So there, she's got that looking up, right? Remember, I was doing that with the cell phone, so I went for that shot, and I was able to get the look I was trying to get out of her, emotion-wise. But I also was able to get the light where I thought it would really kick hard. I really wanted her eyes to look very, very wet. I don't know if that makes any sense, but when you have an all blue like this, it can get very monochromatic feeling. And even if there's purples and pinks in there, it's still a hit. When you give her that wet, that really, really wet look on the eyes. And I thought this was all, I'm probably blocking it, but I shoot with both eyes open and people think I look crazy.
Fully impressed with it, and I hope that everybody gets a chance to try out the Nikon D850. It's incredible performance and just quality level. You can check out these shots and other SFX shots that I've done and my work all together at Last X Witness on most social media. Be sure to subscribe to Adorama TV for more.
No energy.
Like this, and we'll see you next time.
No energy. Look at this mook. No energy, not engaging. You could tell I was sick, but still, I know exactly what happened here too, is because when I was done shooting, I said, well, what do you want me to say? and they said, we want you to say whatever you feel you need to say about what you just did and what is in your hands. And I remember looking at the Nikon reps, and they were like, and I'm not kidding you, this is exactly what Nikon said. They said, be honest, speak. And I want to quote, Fernando would know. They said something like, speak from your heart, or something like that. Like, if you like it, tell us why you like it. Tell us what you felt out of the images. And you got to realize at this point, I wasn't ever seeing a Nikon sensor giving me what that D850 was giving me. And it was really, really wild to see what was coming off of that D850. It was gorgeous, you know? And I remember putting it down, and I was like, oh man, I really want this camera. How can I get this camera? And I was thinking, already talking about trading in and stuff like that. It was just a really wild experience overall. But this face right here, this dope, had no clue what he just did, had no clue where he was going to go, and definitely didn't think that they would call him back to do this. I wasn't even sure what the talking points were or what to go over. And what was one of the strangest things to me was when I was done, a lot of people kept saying the same thing to me, that were the people that were there, going, it was really cool to watch you work. And I thought to myself, like, what? And I kind of get it now. And I'm sure you guys always want to see BTS of people working and see what they're up to. But I don't think anyone ever saw people shooting special effects to a meticulous degree as I was doing at that point, especially when I could only shoot JPEG and I had to be at a camera exactly like that. It was kind of crazy. One of the things that was nuts was I had to send all the images to Nikon first to get checked out by them. They wanted to see how the camera performed. They wanted to see if there was any anomalies, artifacts, any weird stuff. So that was a little nerve-wracking because I didn't know what they wanted them for, but then they send them right back and they give you the okay because they just wanted to see if what they built holds up. They're super, quality control like that. It's kind of crazy. Is there anything else in this video? And there's the old Adorama logo. Oh man, those were the times, kid. Those were the times. But yeah, I mean, this was a real experience for me for sure. I mean, man, look at this guy. Can you tell how excited I am? I was like, I can't believe I'm holding a pre-released Nikon. This is nuts. This is kind of cool. And I just had no idea. And I think we're all like that, right? And I was probably better off this way, because if I overthought it and realized what I was doing and where things would head for me as far as traveling the world to do this and stuff like that, or dare I say, have some kind of credibility built to talk to masses about these things, I probably would have been like, whoa, but I never got shook. I never really got nervous. If you gave me a camera in my hands and told me I could do what I got to do, I never was one to get shook, because I just felt like this is what I do. And I hope you guys share that same kind of feeling. I thought this would be a lot funnier. I guess the funniest thing is my fuzzed out, freaked out hair there, but really this was just a straightforward shoot, show some examples, and just say it's awesome because it was awesome. I don't know. But I just wanted to take a look back at this video and see where I came from and what's up overall. But we all start somewhere, right? We're trying to figure out something somewhere, and we all don't know where we're going to go from wherever we're at. So I guess I thought this was going to be a funny one, but I guess this is more like a philosophical video of like, whatever you do, just go for it. Don't second guess yourself. If they're calling you in to do something because they think that's what you do, go do it. You create your own opportunities in this world. And I can't thank, guys like Daniel Norton, Fernando Martinez, and Adorama as a whole, and Alana. Thank you, Alana, for calling me in. If you ever even see this video, she's the one who called me up to pull me in there, and it led to some amazing things in my life and some experiences I would never would have had any other way. And it's all meant a lot to me, including this channel and the growth of this channel and you guys sticking with me. So this probably ran on way too long for a 4-minute video to do a reaction. But hey, I can only be myself, and I'm always going to keep things genuine, right? So anyway, if you guys want to go dial back to the very first video I ever did, let me know with a comment down below. If this is enjoyable to you, let me know. Let me know what stuff you're starting out on, what you're nervous about venturing on. If you've been on a crazy journey and you didn't believe where you came from, throw a comment down below. Tell me your story. I'm here for it. All right, guys. But if till then, don't forget to like. It really helps out this video and this channel. Share some of these videos around. I really want to get to 100K. I didn't think I could do it, and now I'm at 60. So I didn't think that would ever happen. So I really think we can. We can do it. And don't forget to join the Discord, where there's a lot of people just like you, sharing ideas, sharing work, question and answer, troubleshooting for each other. It's awesome. We're at about 1,000 members now. So hit that Discord link and go to the rules section, hit, okay, and it'll unlock the rest of the chats for you. Check out my work on Instagram, yell at me on Twitter, blah, blah, blah. I'll put all the socially stuff up here. Man, I'm kind of getting all like, heavy in the heart right now over this, but man, that guy in that video had no idea what was to come, had no idea what he stepped into, and it's been an amazing ride. And you guys helped me with this journey. I mean, I can't do this unless you guys watch and give us feedback and engage. So thank you so much for helping me have an awesome career so far, and hopefully I'm helping some of you do something with whatever tips I'm sharing out there. But anyway, pay it forward. Don't think about throwing it back to this channel aside from a like and a subscribe. Go teach someone else something. Go inspire someone else to do something. Go keep someone energized to not quit. And I will see you guys in the next one. My name is Seth Miranda, Last Ex Witness on all social, and I will see you later. Peace.